Oh yeah, before we got raided, I actually was going to bring up a topic that I have kind of thought about a little bit lately, and that is, uh, game modes, mission types rather, and how the best way to word it is that a lot of game types that they've introduced that are quote-unquote new kind of feel a bit recycled. Like, I feel like there's only so much that they've been able to do with, like, the formula of Warframe. Like, in the story missions, they've done a really, really good job of, like, mixing it up. Like, the whole truck segment was fantastic in 1999, for instance. That was a great sequence. The boss fight with the giant sentient in the most recent quest as well was also very good. But as far as, like, regular mission types, though, it feels like a lot of it is like, oh, this is just mobile defense, but again, or this is just defense, but there's a weird quirk to it, and so on and so forth, right? And it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, a lot of these game modes, by default, are fine, which ironically is, I think, what makes the newer ones less good, because they are trying to add something new to something that is always tried and true and works well. It's always like these weird gimmicks, like the whole tech rot defense with Flare and whatnot. That's a whole weird thing in and of itself that, well, it is mostly just defense. There are some quirks to it that, like, either they don't matter or aren't impactful enough, or, like, they are the only thing that's relevant about the mission type itself. And, like, just adding gimmicks to mobile defense or defense or what have you just kind of make them worse, in my personal opinion. But that's not really what I was thinking about. More so, like, what are the mission types that people like the most? Like what mission types do people enjoy? So I feel like survival obviously has to be up there to some capacity. But, like, are there people out there who are like, oh man, I love mobile defense as a mission type? You know? Yeah, the old piece, I think, did try to really mix it up a little bit, and I think that was good. Like, it really did feel like we were doing something at least a little bit different compared to before. And I think that's what really made the quest feel fresh. Like, even if you do have to grind through, you know, the missions for it a couple times to get all the parts for everything you need, like the Vinquibus and Uriel and whatnot. But more of to the point that I really do think that they need to keep older mission types, like, present, just as they are. Like, this tech rot scrub thing it's literally just survival, but worse. Because it takes what is good about survival and detracts from it by creating this weird, you know, secondary objective distraction, and making you use the towers rather than, you know, relying on DPS to, you know, carry you through the mission. Because that's what was always fun about survival, even though it does cause problems in the community by being this weird benchmark, you know, oh, KPM and whatnot is super tied to survival and all that, but it is, at the end of the day, I think, one of the more fun game modes because of that reason, and, like, the scrubbers kind of take away from that. Because I would love to do, like, a plainclothes survival in the Holvania tile set, but the way that the scrubbers work mechanically, and how it actually does, I believe it does actually drain life support more if you aren't attentive to it. I'm not entirely sure on that. I know if the guy spawns, the Bao spawns, that I think that does drain life support. So again, it really does force you to interact with the objective in a way that you wouldn't normally, and thus is kind of distracting you from what is making the mission type enjoyable to begin with. And again, I think this strive to like add all these gimmicks to, you know, these mission types has actually made them worse and less fun. Like, it hasn't been a mix-up, it has just made them more of a slog. Like, I think if you add gimmicks, it has to be in the player's favor rather than against them. And, like, in Warframe, that's not really possible to do because of how already overtuned we are. So what you end up doing is you end up creating missions where you are just actively detracted in enjoyment. Because, like, when was the last time we had, like, a new tile set that just had normal, like, regular mission types? You know, I feel like it's kind of been a while. Like, again, we've gotten versions of that, variants of that, like, you know, with these, you know, new updates like 1999 and, you know, part of the old piece. Like, some of it does feel familiar and similar in some ways. Like, we have, like, our basic exterminates, obviously. Like, that is still plenty extant. But when it comes to, like, you know, some of, like, the longer-term ones, it feels like we've been getting a lot more of just, like, weird bullshit. Like, we got alchemy for some reason. Alchemy isn't that fun, personally. Because I think that the problem with alchemy is that killing enemies is the least involved part of it. And, like, for the most part, as long as you were getting enough, whatever they're called, pickups, killing enemies is pretty much a non-objective. And it really is not hard to get enough. Or, you know, we have, like, the Zeraman 10-0, which I know that was a while ago, but I would still kind of consider that recent-ish. Considering it's one of the more recent tile sets. I would consider that one to be, like, having just, like, weird bullshit random objective stuff. Like, it introduced, like, I think 2 or 3 new game types, and you can tell that they didn't take off or were popular because they never appeared again outside of Duviri. And that's it. Duviri is the only time some of those, like, objective styles appear again, like Void Flood. Like, I'm willing to bet that if those objectives had been more popular, they probably would have made an appearance again. But I think it is very telling that they don't appear anywhere else. Which is, like, again, once again, I feel like they're trying to fix something that isn't broken. I know that, again, people obviously like Capture, but I don't think they like it for what it is, but rather than what it accomplishes, and that being one of the fastest mission types. Ironically enough, now I know this is going to come as an insane statement to some of you, but I actually think that Defection is not as bad as people give it flack for. I actually think Defection is an okay game mode. Yes, it does kind of make you play babysitter, but I think the strength of Defection is that it is so vastly different and requires such different tools from the player than most other mission types that it actually kind of becomes interesting in and of itself. Like, I think that if we were given a Defection as an event, I think people would actually very much enjoy it. And, like, optimize it to make it really, really fast. Like, you only ever need to farm it once, and then you never touch it again. Never appears anywhere else. Defection is gone. Once you're done with it. I think there might be a second tile set. I don't remember where it is. Well, I want to say on Eris, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I know it's, like, on Neptune, there's one. Another game mode that I actually have heard pretty positive reception for is Ascension, actually. I actually think that Ascension was pretty good. It really does feel like a very different experience to most of their game modes, and I'm surprised that that one has not made a reappearance, whatever. Because I actually think that Ascension was very good. Because, like, you wanted to kill enemies, and killing enemies did help you, inevitably. But, like, it felt like there was more to do, and, like, it was kind of a playground, because you could really mess around in that elevator. Like, it really did, like, push your parkour skills, so to speak, and I think that that was its strength, generally speaking. And, like, the rewards for it were good as well. I think that that is another factor, is a game mode is if the rewards are good. Which most specialized game modes don't really have, like, specific rewards. I mean, a couple of them do here and there. You know, Void Cascade obviously has all the arcanes. So does Ascension. Ascension has good arcanes as well. Gives you, I think, parts for Jade. But... And I think the reason why it hasn't reappeared is pretty obvious, considering that it is such a specialized tile set that if they were to take it anywhere else, they would have to recreate, like, a whole new structure for it. But yeah, again, I think that is a good point, that I think that the game modes that are most fun are the one that are allowing themselves for Octane. Like, high Octane, high movement, lots of kills, big numbers everywhere. Like those are the mission types that people want and what they find fun. And I think that Ascension is popular because it satisfies, like, the movement. Like it is very fun to movement in. Those are words. It's very fun to use movement tech inside Ascension because it is almost custom built for that explicit purpose. And the objective of speeding it up actually also felt satisfying. It felt satisfying to be doing well at the objective too, because there were explicit rewards for doing so. Like, you could, there's a bit of a skill gap with it, sort of. About as much as you can have with something like that. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, the moral of the story is that there should be more Ascent game modes, and less Alchemy and Void Flood, and whatever those are.